Radio.com.
My name is Tatiana, and my question is for Nick. Growing up, I've seen you do it all, film, TV, and music, and I was just wondering, as an up-and-comer, do you think I should focus and go all in with my acting, or do you think I should try other avenues maybe to, you know, pop off?
It's a good question. I would say, it's funny because people do say that, you know, jack of all trades, and master of all jacks.
All right.
And that, to say that means, like, you know, you have to understand whatever it is, whether it's entertainment, whether it's business, you have to understand focus. Because you can have, you know, I play 7 instruments, I do a bunch of stuff, but if I can't get great at one thing unless I put in the time and the effort. And because I've been able to bounce in many different industries, but I gotta lock in and zone in and focus on what's in front of me and complete that task and then move on. So it's not like I'm just playing the banjo 1 second and then, you know, acting in the movie the next. It's whatever that focus needs to be at that time. So whatever your passion and your focus have to come together and zone in on that, because it's so many opportunities will present themselves. You know, oh, I can go this way, I can go right today and call myself an actress, or I can go left today and call myself a singer. It's really about your focus in completing it, because you don't want to just be halfway on anything and say, oh, I can do it all. So I feel, at least personally for myself, it goes back to the perception once you lock in with your focus. And how the community perceives you. Because if you take it back today, we like to compartmentalize, but before, you know, if you were Sammy Davis Jr. had to do it all. You know, he was a true entertainer. He had to sing, dance, play instruments, tell jokes, and we have reverence for that now, because it's like, wow, that's a true entertainer. That's what it used to be, to actually be an entertainer. You couldn't just do one thing. Like, if you look at a lot of the Broadway performers, and even you go back to, you know, some of my mentors like, you know, Harry Belafonte or even Dick Gregory, these people were businessmen first, and then they allowed their craft to help open doors and then feed the community with their efforts. So really it's about that bird's eye view of saying, this is who I want to be to the universe. This is who I want to be to my community. And then all those other things are just jobs. All those other things are just tasks. And once you complete the task, you don't have to define yourself. Don't let someone define you and say you're only an actress or you're only this. Whatever your passion and focus is in, tap into that and then make sure the perception is right.
Thank you.
I'm so happy. All of you for motivating us. My question is, you know, I'm also a content creator. I create funny videos and post them on Instagram. But then you also need agencies to work with you. So how do you break into those agencies? That's the question.
I don't think you need an agency to work with you. I think the game has changed, and I think a lot of people are dealing with the perception of old. I think really and truly, your generation has the power. I mean, now that social media is so prevalent, you guys really have the ability to write your own ticket. You heard Jasmine say, if you got people coming and you have content, now you can charge money for people to advertise on your site. There's all kind of ways to monetize what you're doing. I think for me, you know, because you said you post funny videos, if you love doing that and that's what's driving you, continue to do that, and that fan base is going to build up and people are going to come to you. You won't have to knock on any door for anybody to ask anybody anything, because they're going to see what you're doing, they're going to see the audience. And I will say this, because I'm just trying to be good. Unfortunately, we live in a time where it is about the followers. And it is about, you know, the monetary things that you're putting up, and the house, and the car, and the shoes, and all this stuff. And there used to be a time where talent, as we all have it, but was cultivated. It was appreciated. And so now people are reaching certain levels, and we might sit back, I don't know, I might have done it once or twice, and said, no, I don't even think they're talented. What's going on there? You know, when I feel like somebody else could have been in that position, and then I have to check myself and say, that's that person's journey. That's that person's destiny. You cannot question what God has planned for someone else, and you just got to keep working your lane and your avenue and keep uplifting and encouraging other people to do the same. And so for you, baby girl, you don't need to have an agent to work with you to get your message out, to reach your level of what you consider success to be. You don't need that. Just keep doing what you love and what you're passionate about, and it'll happen naturally. And can I just say one more thing? Because I want to, Nicci, I feel like I discovered you. I just want to say that. I just want to say that. Like, nobody knows this story. We got a lot of history. Okay, so let me just tell y'all this real quick. And I want to say this woman right here is the perfect example of not taking no for an answer, being resilient, honoring what she loved and her passion and what she knew she was called to do. I used to have a singing group. Now I can't sing.
I was just about to ask you too. Let the people hear something.
But I felt that I could put together a group and I could make this happen and I could drop a bar or two, you know, that'd be my lane. And I had this audition. And this beautiful sister came in and sang everybody out the building. And I was like, that's her. I want her. I feel like she needs to be in the group. And the people that I was working with at the time that were behind the group, putting the music and everything together, couldn't see the vision.
I was too damn big. She been real nice about it. But I was really close to morbidly obese. I was very heavy. And they was on some supermodel shit.
They was, yeah, not Tami, because I was like,
Tami, no, Tami had my back.
You know, so they were like, oh, we just don't feel it's going to work, and this is not what we're looking for with the group. And so I called her, and I had a conversation with her one-on-one and was very, you know, honest about what they had said. And she said, okay, well, no problem, you know, it's all good. And literally, maybe a year and a half, 2 years later, I was like, nah, I was supposed to be Maxie. I was supposed to be up there, and y'all stopped my blessing. But what it did create, stop my blessing. But she is what you guys need to have, that tenacity. No matter what anybody tells you, no matter what anybody tries to say or put doubt in your head or fill you up with making you feel like you're less than or inadequacy, you know what you love, you know what you're called to do, and you have to keep going on that road no matter what. Because it's always going to be somebody to say no. It's always going to be somebody to say you're not this or you're not that or you don't have this look or you don't have this many followers or whatever the way the world is going now. And you just have to be consistent. And I like celebrate you. Every time I hear you sing, it's like, damn. I love it. And so I just wanted them to know that backstory because she went off and got signed with Michael Jackson. You know?
And I got rejected multiple times. You know, this wasn't the first time. I'm going to go on and say it. Teddy Riley was like, great, sing, but you ain't really what I'm looking for. So those are moments where you can either stop, quit, believe in the bullshit, or you can believe in what God put inside of you and what you convince yourself that you're capable of doing.
And I've never, all the funny Instagram people that I see online or, you know, skits, I've never found them out through an agent, ever. Like, I've just naturally been drawn to people at us or people DM'd us or I just find them out. I've never found anyone like that in that way from an agent. So I want to just add, so you don't necessarily need that.
So an actor and filmmaker. My question will be directed more so to Nicci, Tami, and Nick. As an up-and-coming filmmaker, what advice would you give in terms of discussing your ideas and content and getting it out, not only to the higher-ups and networks of such, but how do you protect your ideas from being kind of taken in like what ways, I know you said not two questions, but in what ways do you assist not assist, but work with aspiring writers or check things or look out. You know what I mean?
I was gonna let the TV and film veteran down there at that corner take it. Okay. So first off, you know, protection is a big word because I have a lot of ideas that I thought were original ideas to realize that a lot of people have the same original ideas. So it's really more about who gets the shit out first. At the end of the day, I mean, Courtney can tell you how many natural hair care brands do you have. And I don't mean to be discouraging. I just, at this point in my life, I like to be as honest as I possibly can. The ground is always shifting in this industry, right? And I think a lot of times what we do is we go for, you know, the programmer. We want to go to the head of programming. You know, we want to just go sit down and have a conversation with Connie Orlando without taking advantage of the people that are in development, the people who are, you know, who some of us would consider lower level at networks and, you know, opportunities like that. And to Tami's point, it's not all about a network. If you're a filmmaker today, just make your shit. You know what I mean? Like, you can make a film with a 4K iPhone. You have to just make, or get it as close as you possibly can to making it yourself. Because what happens is when you sell your idea to someone, first off, let me answer the most important part of your question. Copyright. Plain simple as that. Writers Guild, you know, whatever it is. Make sure before you share your ideas with anyone that you copyright it. But don't be surprised if you look up and you say, damn, I thought of that. And somebody else, you know, maybe somebody took it. It's a hard nut to crack when you're trying to prove plagiarism. It's just one of those things. So I would say really be active and get your stuff done. There's so many resources out there for you. Connect with other people. I think Jasmine Brand talked about, you know, making sure, you know, I hate the business side of it. I'm such a creative, although I've learned more about business. Find and connect yourself with someone who understands the business, so you got a good line producer. Find someone who understands the ability to shoot and to edit. Teach your damn self those things. I can edit this shit. My documentary, please, I edited that myself. Learn as much as you can about what it takes to provide a finished product and work as hard as you can to getting that done. And then don't be afraid to bring other people into your group. We want to hoard stuff and be like, mine so much. Connect with other people. Build with other people who are where you are, but are as dedicated. And then go in with something more complete than just the thought or an idea. Because you go in with the thought or idea, it's going to become somebody else's.
And don't underestimate film festivals.
Yes.
A lot of filmmakers sleep on film festivals. Say, that's your
Hold the mic to mouth.
Oh, I have it in my hand, don't I? That's your biggest advertiser. That's how you're getting your product that you shot out to the people. A lot of agents and buyers for the Netflixes and the streaming services of the world, they attend film festivals because what they're doing is looking to find the next hot director or the next hot this or that. And so they're always at those things, so don't sleep on those. And you are a filmmaker. I hate when I hear people say, oh, I'm an actress, but how do I get it going? Well, you've got to live and breathe as an actress. Everything about you. It's not just I'm in class on Saturdays, you know what I mean? And that's the studying of the craft. But then your whole entire existence, you have to embody that. Do you know who entertainers of the past are? You know what I mean? Are you cognizant? Are you aware and knowledgeable on who came before you? Do you spend time in a bookstore? Have you read plays? Like in California, we have a store called Samuel French, and it's just full of amazing playwrights and things that you can use for monologues. If I said to you right now, Miss Actress, can you do a monologue? You know what I'm saying? No, you got to have everything ready at all the time. And for you as a filmmaker, same thing. Live and breathe that. Shoot as much content as you can. And you know what you have in your favor that we've talked about multiple times up here? Social media. Post it. Send them to a YouTube. Send them to your website. Send them wherever they need to go to see the full product and know who you are and that you exist. And people will come to you.
Yeah. Nah, I feel like everything they said is absolutely right. But and I feel like I'm sounding like a broken record. But energy is everything. And I feel weird talking about being entrepreneurs, and I keep talking about this spiritual energy, but it's because really what happiness is, and as a creative, You only can make your best product when you're happy, when the energy is right. And someone who's been, I've had, if I could sit here all night and tell you how many ideas that I've had that have been stolen from me, how many doors have been slammed in my face, how many times people have told me no. But when you get to that place where you're centered, none of that stuff matters. And it truly is.